Hey brothers and sisters, and this is the World News Update. Baby formula plant has been shut down for a second time in 4 months after severe flooding strikes the facility. Abbott has halted production once again at its Michigan plant that has been at the center of the nation's months-long baby formula shortage crisis, this time for severe storms that flooded parts of the building. According to a report from the Daily Mail, the facility in Sturgis, Michigan had just reopened on June 4th after being closed since February 2022 for a bacteria contamination that triggered a nationwide baby formula shortage. On Monday, severe thunderstorms and heavy rain swept through southwestern Michigan, flooding parts of the plant, forcing it to close once again. Top investor warns U.S. economy is going to collapse. The U.S. economy is on the verge of collapse, said a Wall Street veteran in an interview published by MarketWatch on Wednesday. Financial veteran and crypto investor Michael Novogratz, interviewed by MarketWatch before the Federal Reserve decided to increase interest rates, said the country is heading into the likelihood of a really fast recession. Novogratz is the founder and CEO of investment management firm Galaxy Digital and is a veteran of Wall Street who has worked among many places at Goldman Sachs for 11 years. The economy is going to collapse, he told MarketWatch. We are going to go into a really fast recession, and you can see that in a lots of ways, he added. Montana's historic flooding showing no signs of slowing. Residents warned after water supply could run out in 36 hours, state of emergency declared. The floods wreaking havoc in Montana showed no signs of slowing on Thursday after rivers across the state overflowed because of heavy rain in the past week, according to the Wall Street Journal. Since Friday, Montana has been thrashed by a combination of unseasonable events, including heavy rain and later than normal snowmelt. The rain was driven by an atmospheric river, which is a ribbon of moisture that sweeps through the air and unleashes heavy rain when it cools. Yellowstone National Park could be closed indefinitely as devastating flooding continues to ravage the towns, roads, and bridges along the Yellowstone River. Moment of reckoning, federal official warns of Colorado River water supply cuts. The Colorado River's reservoirs have diminished to the point that significant cuts to the water supply to the 7 states that rely on it will be necessary next year, a federal official warned Tuesday. Bureau of Reclamation Commissioner Camille Putin told the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee maintaining critical levels at the largest reservoirs in the United States, Lake Mead and Lake Powell, will require large reductions in water delivery. Israel coordinated with U.S. before Syria strikes. Israel has coordinated with the U.S. before some of its strikes it's conducted on Syria in recent years, the Wall Street Journal reported on Thursday night. While Israel and Russia coordinate on Israel's operations in Syria through a deconfliction mechanism, the U.S. has largely kept quiet about any coordination with Israel in Syria. According to the report, for several years, many of Israel's operations in Syria have been reviewed in advance for approval by senior officials at U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, and at the Pentagon. Israel, concerned by Iran airline activity in South America, hails Argentina response. The Israeli embassy in Buenos Aires said Thursday it was concerned over the activities in Latin America of 2 Iranian airlines and hailed Argentina's grounding last week of a plane with an Iranian crew. The Boeing 747 cargo plane, reportedly carrying car parts loaded in Mexico, has been held in an Argentine airport since Wednesday last week. Its 14 Venezuelan and 5 Iranian crew prevented from leaving the country, impending investigations. As coalition falters, a prime ministerial reshuffle hangs in the balance. As the coalition continues to fray and politicians shift their rhetoric towards acknowledging the possibility of elections, 3 main scenarios exist for the process by which the government could collapse and the consequent identity of Israel's next prime minister. The leading scenario is that the opposition and defectors band together with at least 61 MKs to pass a law to disperse the Knesset. World War III if Jews are allowed to pray on the Temple Mount. Palestinian officials threaten religious war over Jews visiting the Temple Mount and allege division of prayer times between Muslim and Jewish worshippers. Israel's actions in Jerusalem will lead to a religious war that will reach the U.S., Europe, and the entire world, and will exterminate everything. These are threats coming from Palestinian Chairman Abbas, official spokesmen, and advisors. However, all these PA warnings and threats are based on libels and lies. EU to resume unconditional aid to Ramallah. The EU will resume some aid to the Palestinian Authority following a 2-year freeze, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told Palestinian Authority Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh in Ramallah on Tuesday. The holdup came after EU officials mulled conditioning their funding on removing anti-Israel propaganda from Palestinian Authority textbooks. According to von der Leyen, the insightful material was dealt with. Vladimir Putin accuses West of crushing Russia with economic blitzkrieg. Russian President Vladimir Putin accuses the West on Friday of colonial arrogance and trying to crush his country with stupid sanctions that amounted to economic blitzkrieg. Addressing the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, a showcase event being held this year with almost no Western participation, he returned time and time again to the theme of Russia's sovereignty and strength in the face of what he presented as Western hostility. As we see that the world is becoming colder and darker, this is the time of where we need to share the gospel. This is the time where we need to be the light in this dark and fallen world, to share the gospel with whoever we can while time is left, because he is coming soon. The gospel is that Christ died shedding his precious blood on the cross of Calvary, paying the sin debt once and for all for our past, present, and future sins. He was buried and rose again for our justification, and that whoever believes and trusts on him alone shall be saved. And when you believe on him, you are eternally secured with the Holy Spirit of promise. Nothing can snatch you from the Father's hand. Nothing can take you from the Father's hand. Nothing can take you from Christ's hand. You are eternally secured in him once and for all. And nothing can ever take that away from you. It is a free gift. It is not earned by our own merit, not by anything that we do, no good behavior, no nothing. Because our salvation is not measured by our good deeds. It's measured by how Christ finished the work once and for all. That it's all complete, it's paid for, it's sufficient enough that we don't need to add anything of ourselves to it. But brothers and sisters, we need to share the greatest piece of news that the world has ever received. Because time is very, very short. May God bless you, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.